Would you rather lay on the beach, sipping on the mocktail, or sweat in your apartment trying to create a piece of content?
Winner!
You're right. Even the most passionate content producers will tell you that at one point, content creation becomes a dread. Not to mention business owners who literally don't have time to create content, but feel pressured to do so because, well, you gotta market your business, right?
Right.
Now, this video is not about how to create more low quality content with ChatGPT that nobody cares about. It is about creating high quality content that people, actual humans, want to read, watch, or listen to. And despite what a lot of people wishfully think, AI can actually produce good pieces of content with correct prompts, which I will provide for you. I'm going to make coffee, and you, my dear, go ahead and click on the link below to download your prompts so then you can easily copy and paste them to follow along in this video. It's perfect. If you ask anyone who is great at content creation, such as Matt Diavella, for example, what is the key to creating a successful piece of content, they will probably tell you that it's the topic.
Winner!
Yes, even if you have the worst production, but your topic is intriguing, people will pay attention. So how do we get intriguing topics? Well, besides what I already shared in the video that will pop up right here, it's asking ChatGPT about controversial topics around your brand. Now, we aren't going to create artificial conflict or drama. What we want to do is separate believers from non-believers. So let's say that I'm a fitness coach and I want ChatGPT to come up with some great, intriguing topics around fitness and nutrition. Let's give ChatGPT some info about our audience. I'm a fitness coach who specializes in helping seniors get fit despite their age. I'm looking for controversial topics around fitness, age, nutrition, and illness. Awesome. So I like this category right here. So I'm gonna say I like the age category, come up with 10 controversial topics around it with intriguing titles. Awesome, so are seniors too frail for high intensity workouts? Some really good ones. So we can select one of them. Let's say we'll select should seniors push their limits in endurance sports? And we'll ask ChatGPT to come up with concepts for videos. Here we go. I'm looking to create a video on the subject. We selected a subject. Come up with 5 concepts for the video. So here we're asking ChatGPT to come up with general ideas for different videos. We can talk about the physiology of aging and exercise, risk and reward, training strategies, psychological considerations. We could even create an expert panel discussion. So you could even create 5 different videos based on these concepts if you like all of these. Now, let's say that I liked the number 4 option, the psychological consideration, exploring the psychological motivations behind older athletes' desire to push their limits. Let's ask ChatGPT now to come up with the outline for a video based on a storytelling format, and it's called eStory. This very popular storytelling format. You could use a very simple storytelling format such as the beginning, middle, and end, the setup, confrontation, resolution, but I want to see if ChatGPT is going to come up with a good story. So I also asked ChatGPT to make sure that I can create this as one person talking head video with some B-roll, because sometimes if you don't specify this, it will create an outline for like a Hollywood movie production, and we don't want that. All right, so again, we aren't getting the final script yet. We are just getting the outline so we can modify it to fit our beliefs and our needs. After you've deleted what you don't like and infused this outline with your own personal beliefs, you can ask ChatGPT to create a script. And as you can see, ChatGPT will actually create not only your A-roll, which is basically what you were saying, but also B-roll suggestions of what you can include. So if you have an editor who works with you, you can send this along with your footage, and then your editor will be able to find B-roll, stock B-roll footage to add to your video to make it more engaging. Now, something that I like to add to my videos to make them more engaging are comedic plugs, and I don't know if it would fit really well into this subject, but I'm gonna see if ChatGPT can come up with a 30 to 60 second comedic plug I can add to this video involving one person. Now, the more information you provide ChatGPT on what exactly you want to include in your comedic plug, the better. But even with this more of a generic ask, we have a couple of awesome ideas. So for instance, here we say, trust me, if I can lift this thing, so for instance, we're lifting, 25 pounds, you can definitely click that subscribe button. Right? So just this one line could be included into your video and it will make it more fun. So instead of you just asking, hey, subscribe to my channel, you're including some humor. Now, another great way to use ChatGPT in content creation is to ask it to come up with questions for your podcast interviews. I find that it does really well if you provide it with speaker's bio. Also, some of the podcast hosts actually ask their potential guests to fill out a questionnaire to figure out what the podcast episode should be about. You can provide this questionnaire, the responses of your guest, to ChatGPT and ask it to create tailored questions for the speaker. We're going to ask ChatGPT to come up with 12 questions I can ask John Doe on my podcast, tailored to his bio and the questionnaire he filled out. Well, I don't actually know any John Does, so I looked up a bio online that I'm going to paste in here, and we'll pretend that I'm interviewing him on my podcast. Hello, John. There we go. Can you share with us the journey from your upbringing in various parts of the U.S. to finding your artistic calling in Los Angeles? There we go. We can even ask it to shorten the questions. But honestly, this is great. I would usually just take this and fix it myself based on what would sound better on the podcast, because longer sentences don't really sound great. It's just hard to read and it doesn't sound natural. So for instance, this one, I would fix it to, can you share with us the journey from your upbringing to finding your artistic calling? Easy peasy. Now let's talk a little bit about getting ChatGPT to actually create written content. Is it possible? Yes, if you don't ask it to write an article, write an email, or create a social media post. What we're gonna ask instead is this. I'm looking to develop an article on the topic, aging athletes exploring the psychology of pushing limits. I wanted to include scientific data. Can you find some sources? I mean, one of the things about ChatGPT that if it develops something from scratch, you don't know if it's even true, right? So especially if you want to create a piece of content that's based on actual scientific data and not just something that was fed into ChatGPT, you want to start by asking it to find some sources. So now we can see that there's a book, there's a scientific study, there's another scientific study, there's another online article, here's another scientific study. We can ask it to include the links to these resources as well. And we can include links to these scientific resources in our article to give it more credibility. Now, what if we wanted to write a blog post? Let's say that we wanted to write a blog post about our day in life of a self-employed fitness coach for aging athletes. What information, right? So we aren't asking it to write us a blog post about our life that ChatGPT has no clue about. ChatGPT does not know what we ate this morning. It does not know what clients we interacted with, right? But what we're asking it is, what information should I provide you with so you can write it for me? Okay, let's see what it says. And it says to accurately write a blog post about your day, here's what I need. Overview of your background. So you can describe your qualification, experience, you can literally paste a snippet from your resume, your typical daily schedule. This doesn't have to be time consuming, but you can literally give ChatGPT bullet points. So you can say that, I started my day by taking a couple mile run, and then I showered. I got to my gym at 6 a.m. and I had an amazing interaction with one of my clients. They lost 15 pounds. And then once you provide this information, you can say, now write this. You can also use a similar prompt to plan your vlogs. And then once you provide it with this information, you can go back to the prompt about writing something in the storytelling format, and you can use that so that ChatGPT actually creates the storytelling script of your vlog, if you script your vlogs. Otherwise, it will just give you ideas. Now, if you're looking to develop a social media post, here is why you should not ask ChatGPT to create a social media post for you. I'm gonna do it, but I warn you, it's not gonna be pretty. All right, so here is what ChatGPT came up with. Age is just a number, and for athletes, it's merely a statistic. Embracing the journey of aging doesn't mean slowing down. It means pushing boundaries, defying expectations, and achieving new milestones. Okay. Now, here's how to ask ChatGPT to help you write your social media posts. Now, we're gonna think about a prompt that is actually interesting. For instance, what makes athletes different before 50 and after 50? So to come up with these questions, you have to have your own ideas. You can't just ask for a generic post because that's what you're gonna get. So we're gonna ask ChatGPT what makes athletes different before 50 and after 50. And I got this inspiration from the list of content ideas that ChatGPT came up with. And let's see what it says. Please note that I also included short answers. So if you don't want to end up with an answer like this, you have to specify that, right? So here's what we got. Before 50, athletes typically focus on building strength, speed, and endurance. And then after 50, emphasis shifts to maintaining health, mobility, and longevity. Now, isn't this a great LinkedIn post? I don't know about you, but I'm not on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. Haven't had Instagram for 3 years. I'm blessed that I am not on that platform. But if you wanted to write a great post for LinkedIn, this would be great. This is basically what Justin Welsh teaches in his LinkedIn operating system, this type of content. And all you need to do to add to this is a hook. And you can make a hook your strong belief. For instance, after you reach 50, your workouts has to change. Your results don't. And then you add this at the bottom. And it took us literally 2 minutes to create this awesome post. Obviously, you could read through it and modify it if you would like. But here you go. You got your awesome post. After you reach 50, your workouts has to change. Your results don't. And then you paste this at the bottom. And this looks way better than this, especially if you also include maybe a photo of your client who is after 50 but who looks jacked. I guarantee you that this post will perform a lot better than this. You can also ask ChatGPT to act as an editor of your favorite publication and edit its own content, or act as your writing coach and provide feedback on the piece of content that you created. You can also ask it to rewrite your piece of content in a different tone. The sky is the limit. I talk more about using ChatGPT as your writing assistant in my free AI content creation workshop. You can click on the link in the description to watch it. Now, let me know which prompt was the most helpful for you in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.